Hi guys, today we're going to be talking about organ systems. So please make sure you're either filling in your notes or writing notes on paper if you don't have a note packet. So what is an organ system? So an organ system is a group of organs that come together to function as an organ system. First, we're going to talk about the digestive system. On the slides down here, you're going to see some video links. I may post them on Edpuzzle. Um, So I'll tell you that if I do. But for right now, we're just going to go through the major body systems. You may have already learned this in health class. So it's definitely something you should be familiar with. Okay, digestive system. So the digestive system, you need to know, breaks down food into usable nutrients and expels waste. These are all the parts of the digestive system. You don't need to memorize these, but I would write them down so that you're familiar with them, especially for an open notes quiz or something like that. Please write those down. One of the things I want to mention is the esophagus. So when you eat food and you swallow it, it goes down this tube called the esophagus. And then when we talk about the respiratory system, we'll talk about the other tube that's right next to it. So your stomach is pretty high. A lot of times we think of we don't think of, but we say that our stomach's down here, but really it's actually pretty high. Okay, our liver and our gallbladder, and pancreas, they're all help with digestion. And then our large intestine and our small intestine. So if the food goes through our large intestine first, then into our small intestine. And most of the fat absorption happens here. So we start breaking down carbohydrates in our mouth and our stomach, and proteins, and then the fats get broken down in the large and the small intestine. Okay, the next system is the circulatory system, which obviously has to do with the heart, and then all of the blood vessels associated with the heart. So the circulatory system carries oxygen, because we obviously need oxygen to be delivered to every cell of our body, and nutrients to every cell in our body. So it's very important. It includes the heart, veins, arteries, capillaries, and blood. So what's the difference between a vein and an artery? Arteries take the blood away from the heart, and veins return it to the heart. So you see these are colored blue and red. That's to represent, the red ones are to represent the arteries, away. Okay, they're taking blood away from the heart that has oxygen in it. And then once it delivers the oxygen to all of the cells of your body, it has to get returned to the heart to kind of recharge and get more oxygen. So all the blue ones represent the veins. So remember, AOA, V stands, well, V doesn't stand for anything, but V are the veins, they're returning. AOA, arteries, veins are returning. So red is the arteries, blue are the veins. Capillaries are the little teeny places. That's the teeny blood vessels. They're only one cell thick, and that's where the oxygen gets exchanged. We have capillaries over our entire body, teeny blood vessels. Okay. Our skeletal system is in charge of providing support for the body. Its joints allow for movement. The skeletal system also produces all the red blood cells for our body and protects the major organs. So it's really important to think of your skeleton as almost, you wouldn't be there. Like if we didn't have a skeleton, you wouldn't be able to stand up straight. It allows us to move because all of those places where the joints are in our body, here, okay? But also this sentence here, a lot of people don't know. Our skeletal system also makes all our red blood cells. So in our long bones, right in the center of the bones is where our bone marrow is. So you may have heard of bone marrow before. Bone marrow is where red blood cells are made. So they're really important. And sometimes people need bone marrow transplants because maybe they have a blood cancer. So they receive blood marrow transplant. And what they do is they'll take those red blood cells from inside one person's long bones and then give it to the person who needs it. Muscular system is an organ system that has 3 different types of muscle, which we talked about already. It has skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, and cardiac. Remember, cardiac has to do with the heart. Smooth is generally your internal organs. And skeletal muscle moves the skeleton. So it handles the movement of the body. It maintains our posture. So when we have strong muscles, we can also stand up straight. So a lot of times working on your muscles helps you to maintain your posture. And it also circulates blood throughout the body because that cardiac muscle is pumping the heart. Respiratory system. All right, let's look at all these words here. Remember I said there's another tube from the mouth right here. It's the trachea. It's in front of the esophagus. So the esophagus would be right next to it. So when you were little, your family may have said things to you like, oh, your food went down the wrong pipe. What they meant is sometimes if you're talking while you're eating, you may accidentally swallow some food into your trachea, and then you start to cough it up because there's this little flap here called the epiglottis, and it covers the trachea so that when you do swallow, it covers the trachea so you don't get food in there. But that's why it's important to not talk while you're eating, not have talk with food in your mouth, because it'll prevent you from choking. Okay. So look at some of these. You don't need to know all of these, but just be familiar with these words. Like alveoli, you should know. Pharynx, you should know. Trachea, bronchioles, lungs. Diaphragm is something you should know. That is a muscle right underneath the lungs. And some of you who sing, you may learn about your diaphragm and singing because when you relax your diaphragm, it helps to expand your lungs. So you may do exercises I don't sing, but if you do sing, there may be different exercises or postures that your music teacher gives you to help you work with your diaphragm so that you're getting more air in your lungs. All right. So the respiratory system is the one that brings in the oxygen when we inhale and carries it to the red blood cells. So it brings in the oxygen. And then there's little capillaries in your lungs that bring that oxygen to the heart. And then the heart helps to pump that oxygenated blood through all the arteries. So they work together. And also, your respiratory system gets rid of waste. So remember, when the veins return the blood to the heart, then it goes back in other capillaries to the lungs. And then the carbon, not the blood, but the carbon dioxide goes back to the lungs. And the carbon dioxide then exhales when we exhale to get rid of waste. All right, questions. Which organ system breaks down food? Read through these. And yes, the answer is digestive. 30. Without this system, your body would have no shape. Read through them. And the answer is skeletal. Please make sure you're writing the full question and answer out. This system brings in oxygen carried by red blood cells. So it brings in oxygen, gets oxygen into your body. That would be respiratory. All right, so you need to know this slide, memorize it, pause if you need to write it down. Cells combine to create tissues. You need to know these in order. Tissues form organs, organs form organ systems, and organ systems make up organisms. All right, we're going to stop there.